We're going to stick more or less on Gaza with our next story here. We want to continue to follow up with the work the Hind Rajab Foundation has been doing to hold war criminals accountable. And we are very honored to be joined by Dyab Abou Jahjah, who is a Belgian-Lebanese political activist, teacher, writer, and co-founder and president of the Hind Rajab Foundation and its parent organization, the March 30th Movement. Dyab, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
It's an honor to have you here, and the work you all have been doing has been very important from our point of view. I was hoping you could just start by telling us about the case you all filed at the ICC in early May that I think bears very directly on the namesake for the foundation, Hind Rajab, and those who are responsible for her death.
Yes. Well, as you know, our foundation has been called after the martyr Hind Rajab, the 5-year-old girl who was slaughtered together with her family under the sight of the whole world in a car by an Israeli tank. And not only Hind was a victim together with her family, but also the ambulance workers who were sent to save her. And the most important thing is that this all happened in live streaming, basically, because everyone was aware that Hind was still alive in the car. I'm sure you all remember that day, and we were waiting, and everybody was asking, "What about the girl? Is she now saved? Is she not saved?" And despite all that, Hind was killed by the Israeli army. So for us, this was a very symbolic event, and we chose the name of Hind Rajab for our foundation because we believe that it symbolizes many things. First of all, it symbolizes the innocence of the victims, which is something that is very common with all the other children, but also all the other civilian victims in Gaza. It symbolizes the impunity with which the Israelis are acting, because despite the fact that it was a child, despite the fact that the whole world was aware of what was going on, despite the fact that an ambulance was dispatched, the Israelis killed Hind and killed the ambulance workers. So this shows the arrogance and the bloodlust of this genocidal endeavor. So therefore, we chose our name based on this, and obviously this case particularly is very important for us. So we started researching the circumstances of this case, and after a year of research, we were able of identifying the responsible brigade and battalion and platoon responsible for this crime. So beginning of this month, we filed the case on the day of Hind's birthday, when she was supposed to turn 7. That was a symbolic moment for us. So we filed the case against the commander of the brigade, Beni Aharon, at the ICC. But this is not the end of it. This is just the start of it. And we will keep working on filing cases against all the involved officers and soldiers in this crime.
I think what you all are doing is so incredibly important. There's obviously so many crimes that the Israelis have committed. It's probably overwhelming. So I'm curious if you can walk us through, this is obviously one of the most high profile cases, what happened to Hind Rajab, because we have the audio recording of her asking for help, and it really took the world by storm. But can you talk a little bit about other cases where you've been able to, find the identities of officers and file lawsuits as well?
Right. Well, we work on several levels in these cases. I think the main characteristic of what we do is called what we call offensive litigation. So we are not about defense, which is also necessary sometimes, but we want to go after the responsibles, and not only the big guys, not only the politicians, but especially the rank and file. And we always believe that this is something that the Israelis, are afraid of, because it makes these pursuits concrete. While, somebody like Netanyahu can enjoy, political immunity and cover up, these soldiers, officers are, less, let's say, receptive of these things, right? So the idea is to file cases against mostly dual nationals. These are people who have the double nationality, Israeli and another nationality, and file cases in their home countries. when we do that, we are not faced with a debate about jurisdiction because these countries have jurisdiction on their citizens. And secondly, there's no debate on immunity. Again, something also that is often used for politicians. So this is the main track of our work, but this is a slow track. This is something that takes long time. And, these cases, we prepare slowly and we have the time. We're not under pressure to do that. The second level, which is the level through which people, discovered the Hind Rajab Foundation, are the cases that we do against what we call traveling soldiers. These are Israeli soldiers that go on tourism. Most of the time, it's between tours in Gaza. Between killing sprees, if you want to put it like that, and they go travel and enjoy vacation, and then they go back, right? So when these people travel, we monitor these soldiers, and when they travel, and we have a dossier, we have a file against them, then we file no matter where they are, whether they are in East Asia or whether they are in Latin America or the United States. We try to build a legal file against them, and this is basically the process we are doing. Of course, behind this, there's a lot of research involved. And there's also building a quite large network of lawyers across the globe. So it's always work in progress. But we are going with this till the end. This is for us a mission that we will not just we're not experimenting with this. This is like a life vocation. We're going to do this till the end of our lives, until justice is done or served, at least partly.
Mm-hmm. And one of the issues that I think people are discussing with the unbelievable violence being visited on people in Gaza is the level of deliberateness versus collateral damage, this, that, or the third. But one of the elements I think that is important about the complaint you all filed vis-a-vis Hind's case herself, the 401st Armored Brigade, is that it was a deliberate attack, and that the killing of the paramedics were also deliberate. I was hoping you could talk a little bit about that, because I think the way sometimes these things are presented is like these are just sort of horrible accidents happening in the context of two combatants.
Mm-hmm. Right. This is one of the main things that the narrative, the Israeli propaganda, is using to gaslight, the popular, sentiment about what's going on in Gaza. But if you go deeper in analyzing not just the Hind case, but in general, what is going on there, the crimes and the killing and the destruction and the humiliation and the kidnapping and the torture is systematic. We are not talking about collateral damage. It's not that the Israeli army is trying to avoid these things, but is obliged by combat situations to target locations where civilians are also present. Not at all. It is very often the case that the Israeli army goes out of its way to target civilians. It's often the case that targeting civilians or civilian infrastructure is done out of any combat situation, without any obligation from a battlefield. So this becomes very clear when you analyze these videos that the Israeli soldiers have been sharing, and especially when you put them into context. Then you build up that puzzle. You construct the complete picture through these puzzle pieces, and it becomes clear that whether it is the ethnic cleansing, that is the destruction of homes, the targeting of civilian, the baiting of civilian in order to target them. I mean, sometimes leaving aid packages in a certain place, waiting for the people to come out to get them and then shoot at them. Creating kill zones, creating kill traps. So these are all practices that have been too many times or too often used to be called, let's say, incidental. These are systematic behaviors. So I think this is one of the things that became very clear to us through these last 18 months, that there is an intent, a genocidal intent behind everything happening in Gaza.
Dyab, I'm curious, and this is more, I guess, well, maybe you have some data to back this up, I don't know, but it seems like because the Israelis have gotten away with literally everything, it's almost like they're becoming more cruel, if that's possible. Like the individual acts are becoming more cruel. I mean, they've been cruel since the genocide started, but it's like the more impunity there is, the more ferocious and inhumane the behavior becomes. And I'm just curious if that's what it looks like to you watching this genocide unfold. It's been a year and a half now. And I mean, you think it can't get worse? And then it gets worse. There's videos of rapes. You know, at prisons, I saw a video the other day, I'm sure you saw it too, of an Israeli soldier doing a gender reveal by bombing a structure in Gaza. I mean, it gets more warped and more disgusting, and it's like there's no bottom if this continues.
Right. I mean, I think this attitude has been there from the beginning, right? The way we see it is it still did not disappear, and it's very pervasive through the Israeli army, right? This attitude, the arrogance, the pride in the crimes, the will to boast about it, etc. However, another thing which is true is that, and this is our experience, but also I think many people observe that. And I think because of these cases that we were filing, for instance, in 30 in 30 cases, the Israeli soldier in question escaped the country where we filed the case. We're talking about 30 Israeli soldiers. This is what the Israelis themselves actually revealed. We know of a couple of these cases where the Israelis smuggled soldiers out of countries. We know that because of these filings, the Israeli army ordered the soldiers not to reveal their faces. Some of them, it's very difficult to keep this generation from posting things online. I mean, these Israeli soldiers are mostly young people. So they are posting things anyway, but many of them stopped posting. If you look at the last parade that they held in Memorial Day and the pictures they've taken, it was almost, ridiculous to, they were taking pictures with their backs to the camera and their faces hidden. So there is, like the idea, I think we should avoid falling into an idea that they are untouchable. They are not untouchable, and they know it as well. If they felt that they were untouchable, they will not be taking all these measures and escaping countries, etc. They know that they are not untouchable. So I think it is a hybrid situation where you have the awareness that, in the back of their minds, they know that some people, not only us, but many other organizations, international organizations, legal bodies, that they are being watched, and that this genocide is being documented, and that people are going to file cases against them. And it is something very important to understand about the Israeli society and about the mentality in Israel in general. They want to feel or think that they are part of the West. Right? They don't care what Arabs and Muslims and people of the global South think about them. Right? This is like part of their racist, mindset and ideology. But they care how the West looks at them, no matter how much they pretend that they don't. Especially the elites in that country, they are very interested in being part of the West. So. This is what they are. Why also they are worrying about this. So I will not say that they are becoming harder. I think they have been hard from day one. I think they have been genocidal, and they are still like that. But I believe that the legal action, whether it's what we're doing or what the ICC did, the ICJ, South Africa, and the ICJ, is weighing somewhat on segments of that machine, is being considered. So this is our experience about it.
Mm-hmm. Dyab Abou Jahjah from the Hind Rajab Foundation. Really appreciate you joining us here on the show to help break it all down. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.